So today I decided to have a walk around the artisan market in Burnley to see what street photography shots I could get. I'm using the Canon R6 Mark II with a 50mm 1.8 lens, the RF version. I've just traded it in from having the EF version with an adapter, so the RF version is a little bit more convenient. I've been using the 35mm a lot recently, but fancy trying something a little different today. So when I go out with the camera, I like to just start getting some shots to warm up a little bit. So here I noticed a busker and tried to get a shot of her singing. At first I wanted to try and use the lady watching the busker for the foreground, but I didn't really like how it looked, so in the end I settled for a simple shot of the singer head on, with the lady watching her to the left of the scene. Like, there's nothing special about this one, but I just wanted to get the first shot off really. The next shot was another simple shot, but I did like the look of this floating dog against the blue sky, with all the colours in the puppet or whatever it is. So again I decided to take the shot, because sometimes I find if I don't start taking photos right away, then I don't get in the right state of mind and end up missing shots and telling myself not to take shots because the scene or the subject ain't good enough, and end up just walking around with either my camera in my bag or my camera in my hand and not really taking enough shots. I then spotted this plastic window on the stall and I thought it might make a good shot to take the photo through the plastic, creating like a textured layer. The man at the store was serving someone, and I think he was just putting in some details into his phone or something like that, so I ended up taking the shot and I captured this. As soon as I got to the end of the market stores, I saw these two people sat on a bench on FaceTime. I liked how they seemed really happy and I liked the expression on the man's face, so I decided to take a quick shot as I walked past. Again, nothing special, but it was just a quick one and I liked the expression on his face. I wanted to spend a bit of time walking around the market, so I ended up heading back. At the other side I spotted a brass band and I used this post to cut off part of the shot. I'm not sure if it worked or not, but I tried to add it to the foreground to add some depth to the photo. Having a walk back through the market again, I noticed this man buying some food from this Scotch egg stall. I thought the light hitting the man and the stall looked quite cool, so I took the shot on the way past. And I quite like this one, to be honest. I like how the light's hitting him. Now I've seen this old painted advert a lot and I always used to walk past it, and I always wanted to try and get a shot of it somehow, but I never really knew how to capture it. So I decided to use the top of this post to use the reflection and try and create some sort of abstract photo. So after taking that shot, I noticed this window that had been broken, and I'm not sure why, but I decided to get a shot of it. I think I just liked the way that it had this hole and the glass was broken outwards from it. I then spent a short while down this back alley trying to figure out like what type of shot I wanted. I knew I wanted a black and white shot of some kind and someone walking past in the light, but in the end I decided to get close to the wall and use the marble to reflect the subject as they walk past the alley. So I still wanted to get this vintage advert somehow in another shot and thought it might look decent to use a reflection of this window across from it to capture the advert. I did it in black and white. I'm not sure if it would have looked better in colour since they were kind of vibrant, but I could always change it in post. Now I'm not really sure what this building is, but I've been planning on going inside the grounds to get a shot of the exit for some time. Today I decided that the light seemed good enough to get a black and white silhouette style shot, so I just had to wait for the right subject really. I wish the car wasn't on the right hand side, to be honest, but I still took the shot. I just think it would have looked a bit cleaner without the car there. So heading back through the town to the market again, I was looking for some textures or reflections, and I thought I would try get a shot through this phone box using this gritty and dirty plastic as a textured layer with a subject walking past in the background. People are a bit funny in my town about people walking around with a camera, especially if you're pointing it towards them to get a shot. So if you've noticed, a lot of my shots are reflections or shots through windows with textured layers, and this is one of them shots when I waited for a subject to walk past and snap the shutter to capture him in the centre of the shot. Earlier on, I noticed this sausage roll stand and I wanted to get a shot of someone being served, but I couldn't get the one I wanted at the time. So I had to walk back round and managed to get this guy serving someone. I did like the expression on his face as he handed the sausage rolls to the lady, so I decided to take the shot. This next shot, I did try and get it from the front, but it didn't quite look right. It was like a man selling flowers on this stall. So I chose to go behind the stall and use like a flower bed that's like one that's a permanent fixture in town, and I used that for the foreground element, so that was related to the products on the stall. I was heading to the end of the town centre and I spotted this plant pot filled with water. I thought I might be able to get like a nice reflection shot through it, so I stayed for a while and I ended up coming away with this shot of a couple looking at the sign with the shop reflected in the water. I then headed down the side street of town and come across this like graffiti on a metal shutter that I've walked past like hundreds of times. I never really took a photo of it that I liked, but I spotted this elderly couple and I waited for them to pass it so I could snap a shot of them in front of it. It gave me like that old and new sort of style clashing type of feeling, if you get what I mean. So only having a couple of hours to spend in town, and I was nearly at the point when I were about to head home. I headed back into town just one last time, and I loved the shadow and the light casting down on this shop wall, so I waited for the right subject to come past. I snapped the shot. I also decided to crop this into a square to like fit the shadow, but it also kind of reminded me of like a Polaroid, which were one of my first cameras when I were a child. So walking back through the markets to the place where I was parked, I noticed someone had hung 2 umbrellas up on a tree. I'm not sure really why I like this shot, but something stood out to me. So I decided to edit it a little different, just to have a play around. I think it was the original colours that kind of stood out to me with the blue sky and whatnot. So I just did a little bit of editing and changed some of the colours, and I like the way it came out. So the final shot I got before I went home for the day was one I had to wait a while for, because I noticed this red letterbox. I noticed someone walking past in a red jacket, but I weren't quick enough to get the shot. So what I did is I waited for a while just to see if anyone else wearing red or carrying anything red had walked past. Now looking at the photo, I wish I would have composed it a little better, and I'll probably go back at some point and try again. But overall, I do like the yellow bin clashing with the red post box, and to finish it off, the man on the phone in the red jacket looking directly at the camera. Now that's all for today's video. Should be back with more street POVs whenever I get a chance to go back out again, but thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.